Hi everyone and welcome back to a new episode of BWD. Today we're gonna learn how to download and verify Bitcoin Core. And don't worry if this is your first time doing this, I'm gonna explain you everything step by step. Great, so first we need to download the software, so let's go to the official site, which is bitcoincore.org. Here in the landing page we can see the list of the most recent releases. And we're gonna click on the download section, where we can grab the latest one, which right now, while I'm recording, it's 25.1. So if you see a different version, don't worry, because the steps that we're gonna follow now will be still valid. Great, now if you press the download button, you're gonna download the most recent version for your operating system. Or, as an alternative, you can pick the version from the operating system you want from the list down here. Next, let's download the hashes and the signatures. And if you don't know what these are, don't worry, we're gonna see in a few minutes. Finally, if we go to the instructions section and we go to point 6, here it says that we have also to download the public keys, which can be found in the link provided here. If we click it, we end up in this folder within this GitHub repo, where we can find all the keys. So let's see how to download the entire repo. Just click up here, then click on the green button here, and then click on the download zip. Alright, now we are ready to start, and we will follow the instruction we can read here on the official page. If you are new to this channel or you're back watching this video, do not forget you can find timestamps in the video description below. And now, without further ado, let's get started. Great, let's start by opening our terminal, because this is where we're gonna work, so just go to the search function and then look for it. So if you have never used a terminal before, I know that this black screen can be intimidating, and that's totally okay, but don't worry, you won't blow up your computer, just follow what I do, and if something is not clear or not working, don't be shy and ask any question in the comment section below. Great. So the first thing to do is to find the files we have just downloaded, which are gonna be in the download folder. But to go there, what we gotta do first is to know where we are on our computer. We can do this by typing pwd, which stands for print working directory. As you can see, I got /home/bwd. This is the home directory for my user on my computer, and that's exactly where I should be. In your case, you won't see BWD, but the name of your user on your computer. So let's say you're logged as James, then you're gonna see /home/James. Great, so if you are in your home directory, then going to the download folder is pretty easy. Just type cd downloads. And what's cd? cd is just another command, which stands for change directory. So when we type cd downloads, we're just asking to move to the download folder. Indeed, if we type again pwd, we can read now /home/bwd/downloads, which means that we are now in the download folder. Great, now we can check if the files are here or not. To list all the files found in this directory, just type ls-l. And here we go, they are all here. The hashes, the signatures, Bitcoin Core file, and the public keys. So, before we can start verifying the Bitcoin Core file, we have to unzip the public keys. Just type unzip main.zip. So, if you get a message like mine, it means that you don't have the unzip command installed. But don't worry, it's really easy to install it. On the other hand, if a long list of logs is displayed, you have successfully unzipped the file. So, just skip this section and go to the next one. Let's see now how to install unzip. If you are on a Mac machine, just type brew install unzip. If you don't have brew installed, just go to Google and type brew install and click on the first link. You should land on this page. Then just copy the command you see down here under install homebrew, and then back to your terminal, just copy it and press enter. So if you are wondering what homebrew is, it's just a program which lets you easily install other programs directly from your terminal. In my case, I'm on a Linux machine, so I won't use Homebrew but another tool. Just type apt-get install unzip. If you get a permission denied error like this, then just write the same exact command but prepend it with sudo. And here we go, we are installing unzip. Great, now to make sure everything worked well, just type which unzip. And you should see this message on your screen. Okay, now let's finally unzip the signatures. Just type unzip main.zip. So you're gonna see this long list of messages and you can ignore them. They're just listing all the files that are being unzipped. What matters now is that if we list the content of the folder, you're gonna see a new line above the main.zip file, and that is the unzipped folder with all the public keys. Great, now we don't need the zipped file anymore. So let's delete it by typing remove main.zip. Cool, now we are finally ready to start verifying Bitcoin Core. But before actually doing it, let's go to the board so I can explain to you what we're gonna do. This way it should be easier to understand. First of all, these are all the files we have just downloaded and their names, right? But let's try to assign to each one its role. Bitcoin Core is the software we wanna verify before installing it. Then the SHA-256 sum file is what is called hashes on the web page. But I think a more effective way to think about it is as a list of software prints. So if you're wondering what software prints are, we're gonna see it in a few seconds. Then the third file is called signatures, and indeed this is usually called the signature file, but to me, proof file sounds better. And finally, there is the folder which contains all the public keys. Great, so let's start with answering what software prints are. So for any person it's possible to scan his fingers. And what we get out of it are the fingerprints, right? Well, this can also be done for any software. The difference is that first, we don't use a physical scanner, but rather another program. And second, we don't get an image, but a sequence of characters and numbers, which we can call software prints. Software prints have the same properties like fingerprints. So exactly like there cannot be two persons with the same fingerprints, if two softwares have the same software prints, then these two softwares must be identical. On the other hand, if we change even the smallest part of a software, then this new changed version of the software will have a different software prints when compared with its previous version. So for example here, if we take several versions of the Bitcoin software and we compute their software prints, they are all gonna be different. Great, so now if we want to verify in Bitcoin Core, which means we want to be sure that the software we have just downloaded is the original one and no one has changed anything, what we gotta do is first take the file with the list of all the software prints, and then look for the version we have downloaded. Then take the software downloaded on our laptop and compute its software prints. If the result is identical to the one found in the file, then we can make sure that the software we have downloaded is valid and no one has touched it. Great! However, some of you might say, well, but who guarantees us that the software prints found in the file have not been manipulated? That's a really good question, and that's what the signature or proof file is for. So what happens in practice is that when a new version of Bitcoin Core is released, its software print is computed and added to the file. Then, to prove this file has not been manipulated, the file itself is passed to Bitcoin developers, which are trusted by the users. They sign the file with their private keys, and when they do it, they generate two files. The first one is the signed file with all the software prints, and the second one is the proof file, which is then used to check the validity of the signing. So for example, let's suppose to have downloaded the proof file, the public keys, along with the file with all the software prints, which however has been manipulated. If we pass all these elements to the software used to check the validity of the software prints, this will tell us that the software prints file is not good, because someone has corrupted. On the other hand, if the list of software prints have not been manipulated, we will get a go message. First of all, let's make sure we have the command to do it. Just type which GPG, and if you have installed it, you should see this message on your screen. If that is not the case, just install it, with Homebrew if you are on a Mac, or with apt if you are on Linux. Next step is to import all the developer keys. Just type gpg-import followed by /, the name of the repo, /builder-keys/* and then press enter. Again, you're gonna see a long list of logs, but you don't have to read them all. The last ones summarize what has happened. As you can read, the GPG command has found 25 keys in total and imported all of them. What this means is that now, on your machine, there are the official keys of the Bitcoin Core developers, which we're gonna use to verify the software. There is no need to have all 25 of them, you can also do with a few. What is important is that you make sure these are the official keys of the developers. And if you downloaded them from this GitHub repo, you can be sure these are valid, as the link to this repo is found on the official Bitcoin Core webpage. Great, and now let's have a look at the SHA-256 file, or as we have called it, the softwareprints file. Let's display its content. In each row, we can read first the softwareprints and then the name of the Bitcoin software. For example, in the first line, we read that Bitcoin Core version 25.1 for this version of Linux has the softwareprints. Down here, there are also versions compatible with Apple and Windows. So now what we gotta do is finding the softwareprints for our version of Bitcoin Core. This can be easily done by filtering out all the lines that do not match with the file name of the file we find in our folder. So let's copy the name of the file, and then let's type cat SHA-256 sum followed by pipe grep, and let's copy the name of the file. And here we go, these are the softwareprints we must verify. Great! Next step now is to generate the softwareprints for the software we have downloaded. So first, let's check if we have the necessary command. Type which SHA-256 sum. If it is installed, you should see a path like this one on your screen. If you are missing it, just install it, like we've done for unzip. The procedure is exactly the same. Great, and now let's use it. Type SHA-256 sum -- ignore missing -- check, and now the name of the file to check. And here we go. As we can see here, we got OK. This means that the softwareprints for the software we have downloaded are identical to those found in the softwareprints file. Okay, now if you're wondering what the ignore missing option actually does, you can simply drop it and check the output like this. So pretty much when we drop it, the command displays the results also for all the other software versions listed in the softwareprints file. As you can read down here, the message reports the version name and then it says failed open or read. And that's because in the folder where we are running the command, there is no file called like that. However, if you look carefully, you should be able to find our version. And here we go, it's right here. Great, so we have verified that the softwareprints match. What we are left to do now is to check if the signature file is valid or not by using the proof file. But this is pretty easy, just type gpg -- verify followed by the proof file name. Okay, so also here many logs, but there is a pattern. In fact, if we search for signature, we can see this term is repeated multiple times. So what is this signature message for? Well, every time we read the signature message, it means that what follows is related to the result of a developer's signature verification. For example, here we read the email associated with the first key. The software tries to verify, and here we can read the result, good signature. This means the signature is valid. Down here, another signature has been verified, but this time it's from a different developer, as we can read here. Great, now you might also notice that there is a warning message which appears many times. So, what is this? Why is there a warning message if the signatures are valid then? Well, long story short, the point here is explained in the warning message, and it's saying that the keys we use to verify the signatures have not been certified by a trusted key, which in short means that the signatures are valid, but the software did not find any proof that the keys we use belong to the real owners. So, is this true? Of course not. We have downloaded the keys directly from the GitHub repo, linked in the official website of Bitcoin Core, but GPG command does not know about that, and that's why it's raising this warning message. So with that said, you can simply ignore these messages. But if you want to double check the keys we downloaded are valid, you can copy the key displayed here and then go to Google. look for the developer associated with that key and then check it. So here, for example, we have found this key, again on the Bitcoin Core website, which we can definitely trust. And here we can see it belongs to this guy here, which indeed is the same name displayed in our terminal next to the key. Great, and now let's go back to the terminal so we can see how many valid signatures we have found. Just copy this command and then press enter. And here we go. These are the valid signatures. And if we add also this last part to the command, we can count how many signatures are valid. So in our case, 12 in total. Alright, we have finally come to the end of this video. Today we learned how to download and verify Bitcoin Core. However, keep in mind that this procedure is not only applicable to Bitcoin Core, but to any piece of software you might wanna download from the internet. If you like this episode, do not forget to subscribe and give it a like to support the channel, and with that said, see you in the next one. Ciao!